Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife. And honestly, this episode's going to be a little bit more about what life is like in the military right now, like what we're going through as a family, what's holiday seasons, what's some stuff that is going on, and everything. So I hope you enjoy it, and just kind of a peek into my life. As always, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you are listening to Life of a Military Wife. Okay, so let's just talk life. With moving, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the military, and sometimes you have to update paperwork and everything. And there's stuff that's been going on with my kids' schools and just different fun stuff and different things. So I'm going to talk about life in general for a little bit. Also heads up, because it's really close to the holiday season starting. I've got kids home. I've got dog being fussy because people are ordering packages. So trucks are driving by my house. Anyway, so you might hear some background stuff, but that's life. And it all kind of started a couple weeks back at our son's school. They did a Veterans Day concert just before Veterans Day. And they invited, which I really loved and thought was a brilliant idea, the choir teacher, the music teacher invited the local unit, like the local installation band. Um, it was the woodwinds and the brass, I think, to come and play with as background to the kids singing. And this actually really worked because it got the kids really excited and jazzed, and they had to sing really loud to be over the instruments. And so it was really one of the most like dynamic elementary school choir music performances I've been to in a long time. Their kids had a lot of energy, they really enjoyed it. And that got me thinking about how back prior to the pandemic, which almost seems like a completely different world from now, the United States Air Force band and orchestra and stuff would do these flash mobs, and then they'd put the videos on Facebook, and I loved watching them. And then they'd put their like concert schedule for the year on, and so I realized they haven't done it in like 3+ years, and they stopped even before COVID. And I bet you it was logistically a difficult thing to pull off. But I genuinely loved watching those videos, and I thought it was brilliant. So I went to go look, and sure enough, they do have their schedule out there that if you want to go to their concerts. They've got their Christmas concert schedule. They're traveling all over the United States. So I recommend you go and look that up. Um, but there are military band and orchestras that are performing all over the country this holiday season. And they do fantastic work. They're incredibly talented people. And that's the other thing. On military installations, very frequently, I've seen them play in the commissary, which is our shopping, our grocery store. And I just loved it. It was fun while people are shopping to have live music. So my grandpa and grandma both played big band in a big band. And so I grew up with big band music. And so I really just love that sort of stuff, and just grew up with music in general. And so especially this time of year to hear live music, it makes me feel at home. It really helps with the homesickness a little bit. And so that's something I look forward to with the holidays coming up. As a military family. The other thing is, as a military family, we are often away from our other families and our families of origin. And so we have to come up with ways to handle things that come up. So another thing we've had to deal with recently was going to deers. And I've talked about deers before, but basically uh, you have it it's where you get your IDs and a bunch of other stuff squared away. We had to go take care of some things. So we got a babysitter because, just making kids wait for 3 hours is not fun. Getting appointments is not always possible. So if you can get an appointment for deers, get an appointment, but those spots are usually limited and booked out months in advance. So we had to show up ridiculously early. Um, and we learned that sometimes you'll need documents you don't think you'll need. And so we have a briefcase. It's a zip up binder briefcase that has all of our, crucial documents in it. And that way it's easy to carry. We don't have to worry about stuff falling out. Um, and we've got everything they could possibly want to get what we need to done with us. Because sure enough, my husband and I showed up a half hour before the office was supposed to open. We were 18th in line. Um, the moment the office opened, they closed the door to walk-ins because they had already exceeded their max for the day and just people who'd shown up before opening. And then as we're going through the screening process to even give you a number, they make sure you have all the documents you're going to need. And several families had to leave and they were out of luck for the entire day because they didn't have a document or two that they needed. And then I saw several other young couples or single soldiers. They just had those important documents in their hands. And I'm like, that's so like they could get damaged, they could get lost. Like to me, that was just stressful to look at. Um, some people had them in little like plastic folders or sheet protectors, which is slightly better. But yeah, that's especially when you've got multiple kids. The zip up, I just will totally always recommend this. The zip up briefcase binder is the way to go, people. One stop shop. You will always have every document you need, and you don't have to worry about things falling out. So I've got page protectors in there with all this stuff organized, and because I'm a little OCD when it comes to organizing important documents, but it's paid off. It has definitely paid off. And so we were able to get as much as we could done because here's the other thing. Military life, you need to be flexible. I've mentioned this before. I've heard it from another military spouse. In military life, our life is not set in concrete. Nothing is set in concrete. It's all jello, firm but flexible. So of course, they weren't able to get everything we needed to done, so we had to go to another place, and we had a backup plan. Backup plans are good because you're going to always need to find 4 different ways to solve any one problem. And that's that. Like, that's just how it is. And we're going to roll with it. And that's part of military life. I still sometimes will get stressed out when things don't go to plan, and that's normal. But I feel like I've gotten better at just rolling with the punches than I used to do that because it's just anyway. So I'm kind of all over the place with this episode, and I'm realizing that. But I wanted to kind of get these thoughts out there. Um, because that's what my life is. Sometimes my life is finding a babysitter so I can go sit in the line and deal with bureaucracy for 4 hours. And sometimes my life is watching my friend's kids, so that she can go deal with bureaucracy for 4 hours. And sometimes it's being surprised when I go to the grocery store and there's a live band playing Christmas music and it makes me feel like I'm back home. And sometimes my life is, having to have 5 different methods of accomplishing the same thing because I don't know which one's going to actually work. Like it's just it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And then add the normal crazy of the holiday season and it just builds. So, one thing I'm really excited about that our congregation has started doing is a lot of military families um, won't have places to go for the holidays. And if you have a single soldier, if you're or a young family with little kids, making an entire holiday meal is just not practical. It's not cost effective. It's not fun. I've tried it. Um, and going and eating at the DFAC is an option, but it's not a fun option. Um, and the DFAC, by the way, is the cafeteria. Yeah, you can go get your holiday meal at the cafeteria, but it's just not fun. And so I'm really grateful this holiday season, our congregation and a couple others that I've seen are starting to have potluck, like Thanksgiving dinners, so that families that don't want to be alone, because sometimes people do want to be alone. Sometimes people just want to have a pizza and take a nap. And that's fine. But I'm not one of those people. And so they're doing a potluck holiday meals so that anybody who wants to get together and have time and be you know, have help too, um putting together this giant meal has it. And I'm really excited about that. My kids are excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been helping put it together, but it's a whole nother thing. And so I've got like kids concerts and school and podcast and um bureaucracy I'm dealing with, and and then helping coordinate this potluck meal and my normal holiday baking, and oh my gosh, things are just getting a little nuts. So um that's my life. That's a snippet of what it can be like. um Plans are always changing. I'm always having to be flexible. And sometimes I don't think I'm going to be spending 4 days in a line. 4 days. That feels like 4 days. 4 hours in a line waiting for my turn to talk to someone about paperwork. Um, but you know what? Yeah, sometimes that's my day. And that's just how it works. And that's just, you got to roll with it. That's life. And life happens. I thought it was funny because, like, after dealing with all that, then I was watching some a friend's kid, friends' kids and my kids, and I was going to make. This is just as anecdotal. I'm trying to teach my oldest kids how to cook because they wanted to learn how to cook, and I've been like, I'll talk them through things. I'll be like, okay, when you're doing this, these are the steps. Do it this, and this way, because if you don't, and something goes wrong, then it'll help you fix it better, or it'll help prevent things going wrong. But of course, as a mom, I don't always take my own advice, and I skipped some of those steps and things didn't go right, and so I had to make lunch twice. So, as I'm very fond of saying, life happens, and it does. But part of what all this is been getting me thinking about is after. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry about that yawn. Like I said, it's been a hot minute. The West Point Glee Club came and did a performance around Veterans Day with the Tabernacle Choir, and I'm not sure how familiar you all are with the Tabernacle Choir, but it's the one of the largest choirs in America, and they do a live performance every week, and it's the longest running um, live choir performance show in U.S. recorded history. And one of the West Point Glee Club members this year is from that area. And one thing that they do is they try to do a show in the hometown of every member of the Glee Club. And so I guess that's how they pick their holiday schedules. And so the family of this Glee Club member, um, Reed is his last name. He anyway, Reed, his family coordinated with the Tabernacle Choir for them to perform with the Tabernacle Choir for their Veterans Day show, which I thought was really cool. And so that plus the ones pitching in with my sons, like it's a different scale, totally. The local military unit performing with an elementary school is a completely different scale than West Point Glee Club performing on this major production. But still, it's really sweet, and I love how these different groups, military performance groups, will reach out to the community and family, especially at this time of year. Then the other thing was, I wanted to cover what if you're interested in looking at any of those performances, go to the websites. They're usually a lot of fun and really interesting. I grew up in a very musical and performance-oriented family. I've done stuff with theater and choir most of my life. Um, my husband is not in a musical MOS. However, he has sung on TV and he has been in choirs and he has family who are accomplished musicians. So he comes from a very musical family too, and he plays the piano. So music is just a huge part of our lives. And especially this time of year, I love seasonal music. I'm one of those people, I'm just going to confess now. If I had my way, I'd listen to Christmas music all year long. However, in a compromise to the world, I limit it to times when I really, 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 really love it and just can't wait. So sometimes in the middle of July, there'll be a day, and I'm sorry. I'm just sorry, but that is how it is. Typically, I try to wait until November. I used to start all the way in September. Like this moment it got chilly, Christmas music came out. But I had coworkers grumble, so I have compromised over the years. But yeah, the first day it snowed here, totally Christmas music was playing. It was straight up playing all day. And my kids are like, "It snowed. Mommy put Christmas music on." I'm like, "Yes, yes, I did. At least I'm waiting for the snow now and not just the leaves changing colors." So that's me. I'm one of those people. I'm gonna confess. I'm one of those people. I get that they drive people nuts. I mean, if you're one of those people, hey, leave me a message of support, solidarity. But otherwise, yeah, it's just how it is. So that really is more of just a talk about what it is like sometimes in a military life, how just it can be crazy and sometimes you're lonely and finding those ways. If you live in a community where there are military families or single soldiers, maybe reach out with any organization you're working with, find out if there are single service members who are lonely and don't have a place to go for the holidays. That's another thing our congregation has done in the past is adopt a service member. And there's quite a few of them. Not everyone gets to go home and not everyone has a home to go to. So I challenge you to see if that's an option for y'all. But like I've said before, there's lots of really great organizations that also support military families. The two that we have the most background with are, well, three actually, are the USO, Operation Homefront, and Trees for Troops. And Trees for Troops makes a huge difference in the lives of military families. So if you have a way, or if you're able to, I know things are tight for everyone this year, to donate to Trees for Troops, it makes a huge difference to these military families to be able to have a Christmas tree. So, that said, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you've been listening to Life of a Military Wife.